got all 10 of our Protect the Net Master Set player items in NHL 25, and in this video, I'm going to rank all 10 of those players and give you the tier list in which I think that you guys should go out and make them, and which ones I deem a little bit less effective for you. I start out all of these videos in the same way. If you have a favorite player, or if you've got a player from your favorite team, disregard everything I'm saying. This is simply for the players that don't have a horse in the race, or they want to make one of these Master Set items because maybe you've completed all the objectives and moments and you have the resources available to you, and you just want to know which one is going to help your team the most. Here is my opinion on which ones that I would go after. Now, don't forget to visit the store every single day so that you can grab this daily pack. This daily pack will give you a 71 and above item, which is no value to you at all, but the collectible is, because if you can get enough days or the rest of the week by grabbing one of these collectibles every single day, you can head on into the Protect the Net sets and you can do the 84 overall Protect the Net base player item for 6 collectibles. It will be untradeable, and the reason why you want to go this route if you are looking to make a Master Set item is because it will give you an 84 overall that is tradable. The other options, whereas the 86, it will be account bound, so if you've just started your team and you were looking for an impact player for the cheapest cost, this might be the route you want to go. But again, you won't be able to do anything with that 86 overall card. Account bound player items can't be traded in, they can only be used in your lineup. The other option is to do the tradable version at 82 and above. I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you're completely hut rich, you have no interest in making any of these Master Set items. You can shoot your shot in getting a tradable card that you could sell for coins, but I still think that the 84 overall for this event or future events is of more value to you. And again, why going that route is so important is because you need at least 3 of these 84 overall Protect the Net items, or maybe you already have 3 and you need 2 other 84s that you can significantly reduce the cost by just doing those daily collectibles every single day. So again, just want to point that out. Make sure you take advantage of that. Another thing that you can do, it was confirmed by EA that this Team of the Week collectible trade-in, you've only got 4 days to do this at the time of this recording. It worries me that this set specifically is on a timer, because apparently after this week, or once this set goes away, you won't be able to do anything with the collectibles. They are moving away from that format for Team of the Week. Don't ask me why, but the trade-in for all of your collectibles, it is safe to do if you've been hoarding them. Grab as many 80 overalls as you can, and then you can do whatever you want with those 80 overall player items. But if you wanted to maybe grab another Protect the Net Master Set item, or really increase the speed of the process and you really don't have any interest in anything else, you can actually turn those 80 overall cards that you get from the Team of the Week collectibles, you could put them into the 82 overall Protect the Net set. You can then go ahead and make more 84 overalls. Again, that would be increase the speed of completing a Master Set player item. Again, I don't know if I'd recommend this. I'd probably just sit on the 80 overalls, but I wanted to give that option to you guys. All right, so let's start off with the Theme Team tier. These are items that I would only recommend to players that are purely trying to make a theme team. They aren't going to be super impactful competitively, but it is always more fun to use your favorite players. And to prove that I practice what I preach, I am a diehard Sharks fan. Last event, I made Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, and yes, Yaroslav Askarov. Even when they don't give you a competitive advantage, I can promise you it is more fun using your favorite players. So, in the theme team list, we've got Thatcher Demko. It is rare you'll ever see a goaltender outside of the theme team tier, simply because it is so expensive and goaltenders don't matter. Defense and how you play in front of your goaltender is going to dictate how good that card is. He's got Gold Sponge, which is fine, but hasn't been proven to be anywhere near worth the 2 ability point cost. He's got 86 speed, which is good, but not great. And he's only 6'4", which is good, not great. Next up is Igor Shesterkin, obviously, who's smaller at 6'1", has 90 speed, and I have seen him play pretty decent. He does also have no timer, which in the current landscape of how the game is played, can assist you a little bit more than Sponge, but still, I would only recommend Shesterkin to Ranger fans. And lastly, in the theme team tier, we've got the 87 Mark Stone. At 6'3", 212, he is a great size and a great build for a centerman. He's got two-way forward, which I do like because all of these cards are given defensive boosts, which makes total sense, and I can appreciate when they make cards that have builds and synergies and abilities that match the event. No Contest, however, is not nearly worth the 2 ability point cost. it is an okay ability for anyone that doesn't know what it does. Anytime that you notice your players in front of the goaltender and they get tied up either by an AI or manually, they'll usually win it very quickly and get back into position where they can tip home a puck or get a rebound. They will also almost always get the puck back when it's poked off their stick. Think of it as like jacking up the offensive awareness on a player. Now, he also gets defensive boost, which if you have a bunch of these cards, can get activated. The boost synergies are still very hard to activate, but that almost maxes out his defensive awareness to stick checking, which again, on a winger, just doesn't have the same impactfulness. That's why I say, if you played center, this would be a great card. His 87 speed is fine. It's not detrimental, but it's not great. His 86 acceleration is the same as is his 87 agility. His shot is in the mid-80s. Hand stats are nothing crazy, and his body checking is only 85. Again, he is a great defensive winger. It's just not all that impactful. Next up, we've got the B tier. These would be cards that I think would, in the right context, give you some value to your team. And we'll start first with Mackenzie Weegar, the right-handed defenseman at 6'2", 206. He's got two-way defenseman, which gives him great defensive awareness and stick checking, as well as gold shutdown, which is one of the better abilities in the game. Again, for the cost, you have to take that into account. 87 speed, 86 excel, much like Mark Stone, is not completely detrimental, but it's not great when you consider the cost that you've got to use to make one of these Master Set player items. His body checking is great at 90 overall. However, his hand stats are all in the mid-80s. I think that there are just better options for you on defense. Hell, I'd rather have the cover athlete Cale Makar, for an example, if you were looking for a right-handed defenseman. Next up in the B tier, we've got Mitch Marner. Much like Mark Stone, this is a very good card. It's just that all of his synergies and the ability are all very defensive-oriented, and wingers just don't need to emphasize defense. It's not like it's a bad thing. It's just not going to give you a massive boost as opposed to having a centerman with defensive abilities or obviously defense. He's got 89 speed, 91 excel, and 93 agility, which makes him a very good skater. Two-way forward helps out his endurance, getting it up to 86. His shot is in the higher 80s, which is nice, and his hand stats are all above 91. I think this is a really fun card, and if you are a Leafs fan, I would definitely recommend making him. It's just that there are so many good right-handed wingers as well, which knocks him down into the B tier in my opinion. Next up, we have the A tier, and these are all cards that are fantastic. Wouldn't blame anyone for making them, but I don't deem them to be must-makes where you're going to significantly regret it once the event is over. An example of an S tier card would be the next-gen Matthew Barzal, where I think that if you did not make him, you probably regret it, simply because this card will be valuable for months. So we'll start first with Brock Faber, the 6'1", 200-pound right-handed defenseman. He's got two-way defenseman and gold shutdown. I have him just slightly above Mackenzie Weegar, simply because I like his skating just a little bit more. They're extremely close. We're splitting hairs at this point, but at 88 skating across the board and 90 overall hand stats, 87 body checking and gold shutdown. I just think that when you combined all of that, he is just slightly better, which again is why I have him in the A tier and not the B tier. However, just like Mackenzie Weegar, I'd probably still rather have the cover athlete Makar. Josh Morrissey is up next. The left-handed defenseman comes with two-way defenseman and defensive boost. He also has quick pick. I talked about this in the event video, but quick pick is an animation ability, meaning that it doesn't really do anything to attributes. It does things to animations, which has always had more impact in prior games. So quick pick will allow you to actually make a move with your stick, or your AI will actually close their feet faster to intercept the puck, which is obviously very important. 89 speed, 88 excel, and 90 agility makes him a pretty good skater. He's also got 89 endurance, which is on the high end for the game right now, which means he can just stay out on the ice longer. His passing's up at 92, body checking's 86, so that means that it's not detrimental to him, and he's got good defensive awareness and stick checking. So all in all, I think this is a really strong left-handed defenseman. The only issue is that there's so many good left-handed defensemen. Speaking of, we've got the 6'6", 221-pound Owen Power, two-way defenseman and defensive boost with gold stick 'em up, 88 speed, 87 excel, and 89 agility, with that 86 endurance, mid to high 80 shooting, and again, good defensive awareness and stick checking. I think that he is probably the best defenseman of the bunch to make, simply because he's 6'6", 221, and he gets gold stick 'em up. We're at the point now in the game where all of the forward cards have pretty good offensive awareness, and I think that a lot of players notice when you stick check now, they lose the puck, but they get it right back, and that is because of a strong offensive awareness rating. Gold stick 'em up will help with that, So I would try it out on a card if you haven't before. It might not be effective for you in the way that you play the game, but you also need to take into account that because Owen Power is 6'6", his stick is just longer. He has a longer reach, which makes stick him up kind of interesting. So if there was one defenseman that I would make from this event, regardless of handedness, it would be Owen Power. Next up in the A tier, we've got the 87 Sebastian Aho at 6 foot 176 with two-way forward and defensive boost, as well as gold quick draw. He's got 89 speed and excel, 92 agility, 84 balance is a little concerning because he's only 176. Now, size really doesn't matter as much in this game as it did in prior years because it just seems that it's so hard to knock anyone off the puck regardless. But that combination usually leads to players stumbling and getting that knocked off the puck animation quite a bit. He does have 87 endurance, which is nice. His shot, the accuracy is above 90, which is fun. And his hand stats are all above 91. His face-off rating with gold quick draw makes him one of the best on the dot in the league at 91 overall. He's also got 92 defensive awareness to stick check. This is a great center option. Think of this as like a slightly better Nico Hischier from the Stars of the Month release. Or if you are looking for a replacement for, let's say, Rod Brendamore, the Sebastian Aho card is going to win every draw that you take if you know how to do the counters correctly. And lastly, in the A tier, that is right. I do not believe there is any S tier cards from this event that you absolutely 100% have to make. If there was one, it would be the 87 Alexander Barkov. He's very similar in his stats to Sebastian Aho, but the difference is he's 6'3", 215, and he's got a great balance rating at 88 overall, great strength at 82, and again comes with gold quick draw and 91 face-offs. That combination is just truly what you're looking for from a competitive standpoint when playing online or even against the CPU. Because of his face-off rating and his size, and the fact he's got 88 speed, he could play in your lineup for like 2 months, just further down, obviously, as new cards come out. So like I said, if there was one card that I would make from this release, it would be Alexander Barkov, but in my opinion, I don't think that there are any must-makes from the Protect the Net event. So that is going to do it for the Protect the Net tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Let me know if you've used any of these Master Set items. I'd love to take some feedback from the community as well. I'm always listening, and I'm always paying attention to who I face and who I use as well when I give these rankings. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.